Oh, you better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
That girl is a real crowd pleaser.
He's making a list, he's checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. So Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh, come on, ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Look what you done. I'm a mother of joy to the world. The Lord has come to hear what I hear.
Been here all night.
Been here all night, baby.
I've been here all day.
Been here all day, baby.
And boy, you got me running side to side.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
When we did some investigations of at least between the last 5 to 10 years within certain ministries, we see that payments for works have been paid in the past with no work executed. It's very unfortunate because that means government has spent money and the public is in anticipation of a project to be executed, and that was never done. We have started the process of asking for the money back for certain companies. We've started the process already. It has gone already to the bailiff, to some companies, so that process has started. We also saw some irregularities with, even at the top in the ministry, and how payments were made in the past, jobs not being executed. And like I said before, we're going to hold all these companies accountable. So that process has started. And in regards to the amount of companies and money owed is really, we don't have, let's say, it's as they come. So as I said, having to wear 2 caps, and the Minister of Rummy seeing some things from the past, we had these discussions on, okay, what do we do about these works that that had to be done, even up to 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And so it's just different projects. So one of 50,000, one of 60,000. It's just different projects. We don't have a total, and as more come out, then we just have to add them to the list. But the more important part is that we are going to be taking account to these matters. In 2023, as we already seen, the U.S., which is our biggest tourism partner, the U.S., Canada, and so forth, there are layoffs happening and so forth. We can have a potential recession in 2023. So we have to look at our own budget and be accountable for our own money. That's why it's also important for us to be able to tighten our budget 2023 within realistic expectations. On top of that, if companies have gotten money and not executed the works, then just give us our money back and we'll find another person to do that. And we are going to start a process of holding persons accountable for those actions also. I'll say this, old habits die hard, right? But old habits will die, especially with me as Minister of Finance, and especially in the different ministries. Individuals will be held accountable, but on the other end, we also will be providing trainings to the persons that want to succeed. The Ministry of Finance has also started a process of finalizing the tender law. This has been a discussion in Parliament in regarding to the tendering process. The tendering law is not a situation that we invented, right? Every government before us, even having to have some MPs that were here before as ministers, without this law, conveniently, ask us, when are we going to do this law? And it will be done. We've started this process. So we will have a tender law, hopefully before the end of 2023. And we will be looking at other possible solutions
TV 15 Crossfire with moderator Andrew Dick debuted its first panel discussion on Tuesday evening with panelists Francis Rovelette, Secretary of the Senior Pensioners Association, Raymond Saroun of the Anti-Poverty Platform, and Jude Houston, Executive Director of the St. Martin Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in which they discussed the topic of the high cost of living on St. Martin. Rovelette mentioned that there are currently 4,000 pensioners on St. Martin, of which many do not enjoy a normal standard of living.
Well, it's about the same, because if we have a pension right now of 1,240 guilders, okay, and your basic needs would have to be was then at the time 1,000 for one person, and it's now 3 to 4 times more. I'm not saying that all pensioners need that, but some of them will, because I can tell you what we found out after Hurricane Irma, when the government gave all the organizations the task to go into the communities and look to see who need help with housing or with repairs and with food. And we came about a lot of grandmothers who are taking care of their grandchildren and their own children with one pension. That was the only income in the home. Jobless children who are living in with the grandmother, and mostly a single grandparent. So not a couple grandparents, but a single grandparent.
And I guess that's where the poverty
so that's
comes
one.
in.
Yeah, that is one pension to go for a whole group of people. So you can understand what that is, then what kind of burden that is on a senior.
According to Jesaroun, a strong proponent of a living wage, he sees this living wage as a means of persons covering their basic needs.
I have been a member of the working group for the Netherlands Antilles to come with an integral planning for the years 80 forward. In that working group,
The Netherlands Antilles doesn't exist anymore.
what
Mr.
I'm talking you about already in the 70s, that we were looking at all the islands in the Antilles. What was happening with business, what was happening with workers. Okay. In 1974, there was a budget survey done. How people were spending on the islands and how they were surviving on the islands. One of the reports that I have been part of had as a title, "A Lot of Hands, but without bread." Hopi mang sing pang, but what about tomorrow? Keu bodi mayang. What was happening was that the mixed committee of experts from the Netherlands and the Netherlands Antilles came to the conclusion that in 1974, the basic needs to be covered, a person needed at least 1,000 guilders per person a month. We talk about almost 50 years ago.
Correct.
If we look at the cost of living today, and we look how the prices came up instead of down, then today, I have the figure here for you, this 1,000 guilders had to be adjusted and had to be now 3,850 guilders per person a month.
Mr. Houston also chimed in on the living wage discussion, where he stated that the living wage, when compared to the minimum wage, shows that the latter is legislated.
That livable wage, if it is not a legislated something, because again, I'm going back to the first point I made, is that all we speak of today is the minimum wage. You made mention that there is an established the livable wage. And I firmly believe that probably that if it is legislated and mandated that the businesses pay that and properly controlled, then probably we will see that. But outside of that, sorry, I doubt you will see.
Yeah,
That-
because it's not mandated.
It's
so
not mandated.
Therefore, they can decide whether to pay for it or not, and that's I guess what Mr. Yasserun is saying, that as far as also, he did mention, and I just remember, he did mention also that as far as the business community doing their part for the social groups, do you believe that more can be done as far as the business community is concerned for social causes on the island?
Well, yes.
From a chamber perspective,
I firmly
of course.
believe so. From the chamber perspective, we always try to advocate and promote good businesses, and at the same time encourage them to
give back.
Give back or play what you call a social corporate responsibility. It's something that we advocate on as a chamber. What we have been doing in recent weeks, as we speak. Just last week, last week or 2 weeks ago, I went to Colombia, and the reason why I went to Colombia, or why the chamber went to Colombia, is because we're looking to see as to how we can foster relationships, how we can bring, how we can, what it is that we can get from that market so as to help ease the burden of our own businesses, so that probably in the end, it can be passed on to the consumers. So we are playing our role as a chamber as to see what, probably not compromising the integrity of the commodity of the goods and services, but probably we can get cheaper goods from that market, whereby our businesses can do trade, and probably that lower cost can be passed on to the consumers.
Every month, Crossfire will feature a pressing topic which will be discussed via a panel discussion with experts in the field. Stay tuned to TV 15 for the next informative panel discussion, which is slated for January 2023.
To make matters worse, you all can remember we spoke about the airport. We spoke about PGIA on numerous occasions. With the nonsense going on down there, with this contract delay and all kind of craziness. Well, like how the old people say, the shit hit a fan. You know why? Because the World Bank step in now. You all hear this here, this is breaking news. The World Bank step in at the airport and has put the airport under extreme supervision. So they report every 3 weeks now, not every 3 months anymore. And you know why this has happened? Because they lied to the people. They refused to answer questions to the World Bank. Why the delay? How come the delay? Etc., etc., etc. So my question is simple. While all this was going on, where were the boards? Where was the government? This didn't happen overnight. The World Bank has been asking questions for months. The Prime Minister went to Holland with the steering committee, and I'm sure it was discussed.
We received reports that the World Bank has put the airport on higher supervision, extremely higher supervision, due to the recent incidents that took place as far as the delay in the construction is concerned. Can you confirm this?
I wouldn't necessarily say higher supervision. There is a level of supervision that always takes place. With the challenges in terms of the delays that have been noted, they did send a team that was here for a mission on the safety, safeguards, all of the different aspects that they check to ensure. Part of it is ensuring that you have a proper disposal. So all the safety safeguards, they had a mission here a few weeks ago that did go down and assess the situation, but I wouldn't necessarily call it higher supervision. This is something they do with all the projects.
In regards to...
Sorry, and we will, of course, the NRPB and the supervising contractor has to continue to do their due diligence, and the World Bank is and has always been a part of that diligence and supervision, ensuring that the work is proceeding as it should.
Recognize our Police Sports Organization Association for the spectacular song festival that they hosted this past Sunday. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the winner, Mr. Davison Charles of the VKS. VKS has been raking it up this year. Second place runner-up of Officer Angelo Blyden of CAPASM came in second, and the third place was captured by our retired inspector who served 43 years in the force, Mr. George York. Congratulations to all the winners, as well as to everyone who was in attendance. Thank you for coming.
The DJ Sexer presents BBB, the Booyah Birthday Bash, celebrating DJ Sexer's birthday. It all goes on Saturday, December 17th at XO Nightlife, featuring Yuri, CO the Artist, Devon George, aka Michaela,
I like this like Michaela,
and Dirty Dog Pudas.
Right now he's backers.
Plus a surprise guest artist. Also with music by DJ G-Star, DJ Bruckshot, DJ Jojo, DJ Siwo, DJ Darian, and Top of the Top DJ Blaze. Tickets are $25 early bird, $30 in advance, and $35 week of the show. Tickets available via the K-Band app or call 553-5364. Doors open at 9 p.m. until 4 a.m. Contact 556-0361 for VIP reservation. Saturday, December 17th at XO Nightlife. We're celebrating DJ Sexer's birthday with the Booyah Birthday Bash, presented by DJ Sexer and JW3.